What's up and welcome to Me, You, and Switch 2. I am me, Tom Tate, and you are you. So let's talk about Switch 2. This is the latest and greatest Nintendo Switch 2 news brought to you every Tuesday and Friday in snackable 5 to 10 minute episodes. You might be asking yourself, it is not Tuesday, it is not Friday, and you are correct. Today is Thursday, May 21st, and this is kind of a bonus episode, just an extra episode that is slipping into your feed this week. Right after I published Tuesday's episode, all of the reviews for Yoshi and the Mysterious Book dropped. And because that game releases today, May 21st, I wanted to cover it before Friday's episode. And maybe a few of you are on the fence. Maybe a few of you are thinking about picking this game up digitally or physically. And some of the reviews are really helpful. So maybe this might, just help guide you one way or the other. And of course, I'll leave links in the show notes to all the reviews if you want to read them specifically. I also missed a announcement by Nintendo, and normally I wouldn't really cover this anyways because I mostly focus on Nintendo Switch 2 news, not the movies, not Switch 1, not other Nintendo news, but they announced Pictonico right on, I think it was like 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Monday night, right after I recorded Tuesday's episode because I had to record a little early this week. And this looks like a WarioWare game that uses your phone camera. It reminds me of the AR games that came with the 3DS. I think it was called Face Raiders, where you snapped a picture of somebody and then it turned it into a character and then you did all kinds of weird things. But if you want to check that out, Pictonico is the name of that mobile app. Okay, let's take a look at these mostly divisive reviews for Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. And again, I'll be back tomorrow with even more Nintendo Switch 2 news. So this game is retailing for $60 digitally and $70 physically. Take note of that. I'll talk about it later on. The art style is very cute. The keyword in all of the reviews that I read was charming. A lot of the reviewers refer to this game as charming. It takes place in a picture book. So there's a hand-drawn quality to the art style that looks aesthetically pleasing, in my opinion. Very creative. An evolution of Woolly World and the other Yoshi games that have released in the past. I think it was Crafted World was the last one that I played, and that had, just a really unique art style as well that I really appreciate it. Before I get into the reviews, it's probably helpful just to give some quick context about this game if you haven't been following it. So it is a platformer. Yoshi is the main star. He moves a little bit slow, just like the other Yoshi games. This is not a fast-paced game, but there is a lot of emphasis on discoveries. So you are entering into these various worlds, and you essentially have to go learn about the creatures and environments that inhabit, these different biomes. And in doing so, it notes the discoveries in a book. So you might go, lick a character, or a character gets dirty, or a character gets wet. And you have to use the discoveries and how they interact with the different environments to solve puzzles and make it through to an objective. There's hidden collectibles, and there's various different gameplay elements in each biome that is unique to that biome. Another thing to note is that Yoshi can't die, so you don't have any type of damage that you take from enemies. You can't get a game over. If you fall down a pit, you just get lifted right out of it. So it's very forgiving in that sense. Now, I probably read 6, 7, maybe 8 reviews of this game, and they are, again, very divisive all across the map. So what we'll do is we'll start with the lower scores. IGN's Tom Marks gave this game a 6 out of 10. The subhead on his review reads, "The most charming video game bubble wrap you'll ever pop, and not much more." And he opened up his review saying, "It's always a drag when a game you are looking forward to disappoints, but it's even sadder when it shows you exactly how it didn't have to at the same time." Now, he's alluding to a game mechanic that he loved that shows up later on in the game. I think it's the 6th biome. And he says it just disappears. And I think he makes the case that this mechanic should have been leveraged throughout the entire game. They should have just rebuilt the game once they discovered this particular mechanic in the development. And I'm not going to spoil what that mechanic is, but he does. So if you want to go to that IGN review, you can learn more about it. He also said it's easy to lose interest in the levels after you made most of the discoveries. He writes, "This is basically a stack of themed sheets of bubble wrap. Bubble wrap is fun to pop, but unless you're really serious about bursting every single one, no matter how mundane they may be, you're mostly just left playing with a limp piece of plastic after the first pass." So, replayability, he's making the case that there's really not that much there, but it's fun through the first pass. Nintendo Life's Ollie Reynolds also gave this a 6 out of 10. That's relatively low for them. I think they pretty much skew higher on a lot of the reviews. He had some positive things to say about the art style, but he wasn't blown away with the graphics and performance. He wrote, "In handheld mode, the ink-like edges applied to characters and environments look disappointingly soft and almost pixelated in motion. I can't be 100% certain as to what resolution the game targets, but I'd be surprised if it's hitting the full 1080p display. Docked is much better, thankfully, but even then, backgrounds lack detail and vibrancy, while individual stages fail to introduce much visual variety. Yes, you have different biomes, but you'll often see some of the same assets throughout. His joys, very charming, simple story, lots of unique creatures to discover, collectible flowers add replayability, pleasant music, extremely approachable for younger gamers, but his cons, but permanent invincibility is arguably a step too far. Repetitive structure and stages feel a little empty and drab. Some of the unlockables feel pointless and visually lacking, especially in handheld mode." Game Informer's Kyle Hilliard gave it a 7.75 out of 10, a little bit higher. He talked about how delightful it is to randomly stumble upon a discovery, but he also mentioned how frustrating it can be when the discovery needed to progress is too vague, too hard to understand what they're actually asking you to do. He called the narrative paper thin. He mentioned how after you roll credits, the game opens up to more levels. Maybe a slight spoiler there, so I apologize, but that seems to be the MO in a lot of Nintendo games these days. Most of the Mario games, when I roll credits, I expect to be transported to a bonus world or some additional stages for replayability. I think Kirby also does that, from time to time, so this is to be expected. Here's another quote from Kyle. "Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is, by design, an inviting game with little challenge. A pleasant vacation where all the animals want to be friends, and the soundtrack sounds like colorful bubbles bursting in front of a double rainbow." Alex Seedhouse at Nintendo Insider really enjoyed this game, giving it an 8 out of 10. "Yoshi and the Mysterious Book rekindles that sense of childlike wonder, successfully satisfying your appetite for discovery in ways that gamers rarely tap into. It's unlike anything else that you have played, yet remains familiar at the same time. And the brave decision to take the curious dinosaurs' adventures in a new direction was as genius as the old wizened tome that it is based around." So again, some praise with an 8 out of 10 review from Nintendo Insider. Video Games Chronicle, or VGC, Andy Robinson over there gave it a 5 out of 5. This is probably the most glowing review that I've read for this game. He absolutely adored this game. He subtitled his review, "Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is Nintendo's most unique 2D platformer in a long time." That is a bold statement because Mario Wonder was very, very good. I really enjoyed that. I don't know if he's making the argument that it's been a long time since Mario Wonder, but if he's saying that this game was more unique than Mario Wonder, that is some very high praise. He writes in his review, "Yoshi and the Mysterious Book powers along with the kind of breathless imagination typically associated with mainline Super Mario adventures, with new ideas and gameplay mechanics stretching across the margins of its pages. A brilliant, unique side-scroller." His pros: "One of the most unique Nintendo platformers in years. Every stage feels like a discovery. Countless creatures with inventive mechanics, compelling for all players, young and old." And his con: "Don't expect technical challenge." Okay, so I read a sampling of positive and negative reviews. Well, not negative, but like less positive reviews. I was left wondering after reading a lot of different articles, with this wide range of reviewer commentary, like, how is this game so divisive? And clearly it has to do with entering into this game with the right expectations. Who is this game for? Why is it the way that it is? And Polygon did a good job trying to break this down. So Giovanni Colantonio over at Polygon, he shaped his review around the premise that this game is clearly a kid's game. He writes, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book puts its entire focus on playful research to create a low-stakes game aimed at Nintendo's youngest players. It's a suitably bright and gentle adventure for parents looking to ease their kids into Nintendo games, but one that doesn't fully find its footing as a new species of puzzle platformer. Most importantly, this is later on in the review, he writes, most importantly, it makes it very clear who the intended audience here is, very young kids. So he frequently compared the experience to playing Super Mario platformer, where you encounter new enemies and challenges that you just have to figure out what their deal is. And it's so inviting because it's low stakes. You really can't die. Unlike Mario, where you have to die to figure out what is expected with certain enemies, and then you kind of move your way through. There is a ton to discover. So Giovanni compared this game to opening a toy box. So you can clearly hear in Giovanni's review, he's making it very evident he thinks this game was designed specifically for kids. And Ollie Welsh over at Polygon, he wrote another article where he wrote, video games aren't for kids anymore, but some of them are. And that can throw reviewers for a loop. Even if you have children yourself, it can be tough to properly evaluate a game from a kid's perspective. My son adores the Telltale Games Lego titles, but I still think they're objectively terrible. Except in those all too frequent cases where a kid's game is just bad, reviewers can easily be discombobulated by them. That seems to be the case with Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, a gentle puzzle platformer about discovering new creatures in Nintendo's latest Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive. So a few reviewers did compare this game to Princess Peach Showtime because it functions in the same way. It's low stakes. It's discovery-driven gameplay. It's got unique mechanics, not a lot of replayability or replay value, and it features a mainline Mario character for price tag justification and appeal to younger audiences. You could make an argument that Princess Peach Showtime was trying to appeal to young girl gamers. I'm not sure. My son played that game and he enjoyed it too, so I don't want to make any stereotypes here. But I'm curious if that's what Nintendo was specifically marketing towards. If you are an adult, though, and you don't have kids, and you're thinking about this game, I actually found this second opinion review from Nintendo Life's video producer, May Ladyman, to be super clear and direct. So May wrote, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book was a truly pleasant experience for me, albeit lacking much challenge. An optional difficulty mode would have been great for those already familiar with the series. Even a challenge mode would have been acceptable. If you're looking for a low-stakes Yoshi game where you can be silly and explore, then this is for you. It's definitely the sort of game I'll play on a Sunday afternoon when I'm craving something cozy, stress-free, or for very short play sessions. Beyond that, there were snippets of what could have been a satisfying platformer, but I think for now I'll go back to previous Yoshi games should I want to test my skills. So if you love just a cozy, breezy Sunday afternoon play session where you can just explore, low stakes, not intense, like this might be a really great game for you, whether you have kids or not. So my 2 cents, thinking through this and reading all the reviews, if this is indeed targeted for kids and it doesn't have as much replayability as other Nintendo titles, if this is a kid's game and it was intended to be a kid's game, why give it a $70 physical price tag? Like, why make it that much harder for moms and dads in Target or Walmart or Best Buy to be standing there to justify buying this game over every other kid-friendly game on the rack? Like, sure, it has, the Nintendo seal of quality. It has a Nintendo iconic character on the cover. Your kids are seeing ads streamed on Disney Plus that are pointing them in the direction of this game. But when all signals are pointing to kind of a challenging economic summer, gas prices are soaring, the price of everything is soaring, the price of consoles and accessories are going up. Like, why not make this like such an easy purchasing decision for parents as we head into the summer? And kids want games to play, and parents want their kids to be occupied with games to play. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. seeing the $70 price tag for this game, especially considering that like Star Fox is getting the $50, $60 treatment. To see this one get the $60, $70 treatment, it just didn't make sense if this is a kid's game. My guess is they're probably still riding high on the box office success of the Mario Galaxy movie, which featured Yoshi front and center, so they might as well squeeze a bit more out of it. I'm really not sure. I know we're over the 15-minute mark. I try to keep these episodes short, but there was so much to dig into with these reviews. Hopefully this was helpful. I will link to everything in the show notes if you want to check it out. Again, mixed reviews, but this might be the perfect game for you. This might be the perfect game for your kids. That's on you to decide. I will probably not be picking this game up right away, but I anticipate this game will drop in price by way of a sale, a holiday sale. But we will have to wait and see. And if this does drop in price, perhaps I will pick it up. Maybe Nintendo will bring back the voucher system, which might make this a little bit more affordable. My older kids probably won't dig this as much as my youngest, but I'm not in the mood for a cozy Sunday game. My Sundays have been too busy for me to sit down and enjoy a cozy game, and my backlog is too big. But hopefully these reviews helped you in making some type of decision for yourself if you've been on the fence with this game. I hope that you enjoy your Thursday. I will be back tomorrow, Friday morning, with a quick one. It'll be short, just to tie up any loose stories that we missed this week. You can go to patreon.com/switch2pod for the 100% free bonus content. There's not a paid tier over there. You just have to join. Switch2pod.com for all the subscription links, all the things. Subscribing to the show is super helpful. Leaving a kind rating or review is helpful as well. Much love. Now go play some games.